Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Green Room Podcast. I'm Matthew Brune, and joining me once again is Colin Mitchell.
Yeah.
Colin, this is our first podcast. I don't know if we're officially a part of the Dave Campbell's network. I don't know, but it's been
9
announced.
days. 9 days.
9 days. Oh,
This
that's
one's
when it officially
official.
starts.
Officially starts.
I didn't even see. I don't even know.
You
Colin
didn't even
reads the
you
fine
didn't even
print.
swap out the thing.
Oh, did you send it to me?
I put it in the drive.
Oh, well, we'll figure that
Facebook
out.
doesn't exist. That Facebook logo was actually Twitter. We got a new Twitter.
We have a Twitter. We do have a Twitter. So yeah, check out the Twitter. That's where we're gonna post all the content, all that stuff. What's our at on it? Is
Green
Green
Room
Room
UNT.
UNT.
Not
Yeah.
take the away and the Facebook logo, and that's the Twitter ad.
Yeah, just Green Room UNT. So follow us on Twitter there. I think we're already up to 80 followers or so that's
84.
good. 84. Yeah, so it's going up quickly. We love to see that. We appreciate all of y'all for the support as always. We just wanted to have everything in one location. Me tweeting it out when I'm covering LSU and doing Dave Campbell, like it's just a lot. So, and Colin, he's busy all the time. So we just wanted to have it all in one location. And this is the way to do it. We're going to have graphics going up. We're going to have, we're going to interact, tweet throughout games and stuff, all that good stuff. So follow our Twitter at Green Room UNT. That's where you can find us, and that's where you'll find this podcast if you are on Twitter. So thank you all for joining us. Now, Colin, the regular season is over.
Yes.
The regular season is over for North Texas. First of all, show off the shirt you're wearing.
Oh,
I love
yeah.
the shirt.
Oh, yeah.
I showed it to you. I said to buy this shirt for me, and you said, all right. So you bought 3 of them. One's for me, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah,
Toughest team wins.
And then the other one was for our friend whose bachelor party it was when we went to the game, but he didn't take it. So I have a second one.
So it's a picture of McCaslin holding up the net. Toughest team wins. That's their mantra.
Yep.
I've had this one for a minute now. I love this one. But yeah, so we're ready. It is time. The regular season is over. We'll wrap up the game, so we'll also give our predictions for the conference tournament, all that good stuff. Now, Colin, you were at the game. You were at the West Virginia game.
West Kentucky game.
Western Kentucky, sorry. We also watched Middle Tennessee. They beat Middle Tennessee on Thursday.
Yep.
That was a 64-50 win where Middle Tennessee, I believe, led. They led 17-9 early on. North Texas comes back, and we've said it multiple times with this team and this program. The way that this team goes on runs is not the same as how 95% of basketball teams go on runs. They don't just light it up from 3. They don't start getting to the free throw line a billion times. They don't have that one player that's going to just pull them out of runs. They just stop you from scoring.
Yeah.
And they cut off your circulation until you slowly die. And then you look at the scoreboard in North Texas, holds you to 50 points. So that's what happened in the Middle Tennessee game. I thought that was a pretty impressive. Tyler Perry got to the line 14 times.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And I think there was a T somewhere, or there was in the late game fouling or whatever, but still, I mean, one of the biggest difference this year's team from last year's team is the free throw shooting, right? Remember last year they couldn't make a free throw
at all.
And this year, I believe they are first in the conference in free throw percentage at 78.3%. Incredible turnaround. So that was the Middle Tennessee game. That was the game I was most worried about because Middle Tennessee is a good team. We're like, that's the game. If they lose that game, that's not great.
But... Well, it started bad too, right? Like we were scared for the first 18 minutes of the game because UNT didn't seem like they were going to touch a lead. And then all of a sudden, boom, 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 they lead at half 33-30, I think it was. So,
and
like
we text each other. We text each other throughout the game, and it's just funny because most of the time, at least with the Charlotte and the middle game, it's happened throughout the season where we're 10 minutes into the game, and when North Texas has 9 points, and we're just like, I hate it here.
The world's falling. Like the world, like it's crumbling around us in that time.
Like, can somebody score the ball, please? I'm tired of watching Abu hook shots. Like, just everything going out the window. And then all of a sudden they just start playing again. So that was good. Now the Western Kentucky game.
Yep.
Boy, that was a game.
First UNT basketball game for me since La Tech last year.
Well, there you go. Now, Western Kentucky comes into this game, obviously not the Western Kentucky of old. We knew that. In fact, when these two teams played early in the season in Kentucky, Western only lost by 4, 70-66. I remember Western was kind of hot that game. North Texas wastes no time, just completely obliterates Western Kentucky into the sun, holds them to 0 points through 7.5 minutes, and beats them 67-33 with you in attendance. How you no Kai Huntsberry? That's an important thing we'll mention as well. Kai got hurt in the Middle Tennessee game. I tweeted out from the Twitter account at Green Room UNT that it was day to day. He was a game time decision, and that they were optimistic about him being good for the conference tournament. So no Kai, but they win 67-33 with you in attendance. What were your thoughts on that game?
First of all, first thought, Western Kentucky is an awful basketball team when their only shooter is out. So Western has no shooters,
none,
except for Frampton. Forgot his first name, but he was
out.
out.
Luke Frampton.
Yeah. So he was out, and I think Western only made 2 threes the whole night. So you obviously have to ride. I think it's Tavion McKnight.
Yeah.
Davion McKnight. McKnight. That's what it is. Sorry, Tavion Hollingsworth. Yeah, Davion McKnight. And no one can hit a shot. And I'm going to give credit to North Texas' defense because they didn't have an opportunity to get open. And obviously some of that's because they don't have to really worry about the shooters. But Western had the hardest time I've ever seen a basketball team have to try to score. And I watched UNT. I've never seen that before. I mean, the 7'5" dude, Sharp, couldn't do anything. I mean, it was just a master class of defense. So that's point number 1, defense. Second thing, I loved seeing Ruben and Kai's role. I was very, very happy with that. And I liked early when they were kind of running a little bit, when, there was a couple turnovers here and there. And I liked him in the open court. I liked him handling the ball. I feel like Ruben does things that I wish Kai would do, but Kai can't because he has to have a bigger role in the offense. You know what I mean? Whereas like Ruben, he knows what he has to do. And I feel like that allowed Tyler to flourish, which by the way, went ballistic. I forgot how many points he had, but he at one point Western 19. Had 18 and he had 17. So that was that. If you want any explanation of how the game went, that's what it is. But yeah, it was great.
Yeah, you bring up good points. Ruben wasn't super efficient, but 3 steals, 4 assists, 5 rebounds, only 2 turnovers, 34 minutes for Ruben. We'll talk about the bracket in a bit. I'm assuming Kai will be healthy for Thursday's game. If he's not, I think, you want to have him right for Friday. We're going to assume they win the Thursday game. Like, that's just how we're going to operate. Coaches probably won't operate that way. They'll be like, hey, we need all hands on deck. It's tournament time, yada, yada, yada. Maybe play Kai in a limited role. But from what I saw, I think this team is capable of surviving against teams not named UAB and FAU without Kai. Like, I think they're perfectly fine because of the defense. Because you plug in Matthew Stone and he plays 22 minutes and has 2 points, 0 for 3 from 3, 1 for 1 from 2. And you can survive that because you're not playing UAB and FAU. Like, that's just that. Those are the games Stone can survive. Like UTEP, we saw it. He made a couple shots and it changed the game because those are the tighter games that he can operate in. I think this team's pretty much set at this point. Like, we've talked about them throughout the year. I think Aaron Scott coming into his own is huge. I mean, he had 11 points on 5 of 8 shooting with 7 boards, 4 assists,
and a lot of middies.
Steals.
I was really
mid-range jumper. He busted the zone time and time again, just getting in those pockets, hitting the jumpers. Western Kentucky is a shell of its former self, and it's crazy because Emmanuel Acott had 2 points. Like, he was one of the highly rated, touted transfers over the offseason, Emmanuel Acott from Boise State. And I know someone tweeted, I don't remember who it is. I'm sorry if you're listening to this and I forgot, but someone said he went to Western Kentucky instead of Memphis. And like, how's that decision working out for you?
Yeah.
Not great. But still very impressive win, I think, defensively, like you mentioned. I want to say something big picture wise before we get into the tournament. This team, that week between Charlotte and Middle Tennessee, I think defensively they've gone to another level.
Yeah.
Like another level. Like, they've always been a really, really good defense, but we started seeing a couple cracks here and there, right? Like in the UTEP game, sure, it went to double overtime and whatever, and they allowed 72 points to UTEP. It was fine. It was whatever. Charlotte lost. was a little concerning defensively for me because the pace of the game was so slow and Charlotte was still able to kind of impose themselves at times.
Yeah.
That week off, I think they said on the Middle Tennessee broadcast, Grant McCaslin told them, "Is like we've been working on defense, like we've been working on defense," and they were joking on the broadcast, like, "How do you focus on defense when you're already like an elite defensive team?" Middle Tennessee, if they don't hit those BS threes that they were hitting, I remember they
Yeah.
hit, what was it, 6 in the first half, I think it was,
Yeah.
and they're one
Not
of the worst.
missing.
Yeah, and they're one of the worst shooting teams in the conference. Like if they don't hit those, they probably score 40 points or less. And then we're looking at back-to-back games of like 40 and 33 points. Like that's
Yeah.
how good this defense has been. And we've talked about this offense throughout the year, for good reason, because they're going to need to score some points to beat UAB and FAU. But damn, this defense is hitting a stride. This might be the best this defense has been this entire season.
Yeah.
And that's really comforting.
Here's a interesting thing I liked also about the game offensively is Tyree Edey was able to get shots. I'm assuming that's because Kai was out. He was 3
Everyone
of
felt
5.
a little bit more aggressive, like you're saying.
Yeah, it's like Ruben obviously was 3 of 11, but I think he hit his first 3.
Mm-hmm.
Tyree Edey 3 of 5. Aaron Scott, like I said, the middies. I feel like everybody was involved. So that is something I want to look for in the tournament is if Kai isn't able to play Thursday, for example, do we see the growth or more involved role of Ruben and Tyree on offense? Second thing is I feel like this is, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, I believe this is the second game in a row where Abby's been in foul trouble, and you've had to play a lot of minutes with Sissoko. Sissoko played 16 minutes last game against Western. Let me check the middle game real quick.
Middle, Sissoko only played 7, and Abu played 32.
So. Okay, so against Western, I don't think you cannot have. I thought that Sissoko a couple of times looked out of his element. Obviously, that's because Sharp is just 7'5". But you need to have Abu, continually being that presence on the floor for them, especially in the tournament against like Jameson from UAB.
Yeah, Jamison. All right, when we look at this season as a whole, let's wrap up the regular season and then get to the tournament.
Okay.
16-4 in conference, 25-6 overall. They jumped up to 39th in the net rating, which ultimately doesn't. I mean, it's great, but for an at-large bid, there's a team, Utah State, that I believe was 22nd in the net. That's on the bubble right now. So it is they take what they care about. The committee does, and 39th in the net is high, but it's not good enough for an at-large bid. Regardless, that's the highest in school history. 39. Ken Palm, they are 45th. I believe that's also the highest in school history at this point. I'm not going to ask you if this is the best team in school history, but from where we were early in the season to after the FAU losses, to after the Rice loss, to after the Charlotte loss, what do you think of this team, big picture, going into the tournament? Like, how good is this team?
I think, like you said, we saw a different level defensively these last 2 games, and I didn't think that could happen. And as long as they continue to be efficient on offense, this team has another ceiling where I don't think that UAB at its ceiling is. I think that UAB is now worse at its ceiling than North Texas at its ceiling, just because that defense took another step. And going in the tournament, you expect to continue to see that. I mean, like you said, during that week off, it seemed like they locked in and said, okay, we're not going to, we have something to play for, and that's the pride, and then making sure we're ready for the tournament.
Yeah, and we talked about it the entire year. The whole season was if you are going to play the slowest tempo in the country and you are going to rely and you're going to try to play like you did last year, the defense has to be as good as it was last year. And we didn't think it was possible for this defense to be as good as it was last year.
Yeah.
Like we were saying, you don't have JJ Murray, you don't have Thomas Bell. You're relying on new guys, Kai, Tyree Edey, Jaden Martinez for a bit here and there. Like Tyler Perry starting this year instead of coming off the bench. That's a big difference for a guy who's 5'10", 5'11", and kind of has to do a lot offensively. Last year's defense ended the season 22nd in the country. This year, they're 30th in the country.
Yeah.
Like that, they've done it. They've actually done it to where with no matter the personnel, they've changed. They lost their best 2 defenders from last year, and Drez. Let's not forget Drez, who was a very, very solid defender. They've lost 3 good defenders, and they're still top 30 in the country in defense.
Yeah.
Like they've done it. They've flat out done it, and that is a huge testament to this coaching staff, to the players, to the buy-in, to the culture, all that stuff. It is absolutely incredible what this team has done defensively. That's where you have to start with this program, with this team. The toughness, the will to win is all there defensively. I mean, they're so bought in, they're so locked in. Because I guarantee you, if you look at the top 30 teams in the country defensively, and let's say North Texas is 30th, they all have better athletes than North Texas.
Yeah.
Like it's I'm looking through it right now. Texas, Tennessee, UCLA, Alabama, Rutgers, St. Mary's, Houston, Iowa State, Mississippi State, Kansas, Creighton. That's only like half of the top 30. Like they're
Yeah.
all Power 5 high major programs. Like I'm looking down right now. Where's the next? Utah Valley is 35th. In my opinion, of the top 34, they're the smallest school. They're they're probably the only mid-major on this list. Sam Houston State's up there as well, so give them that. And whatever you think of San Diego State, but regardless, you get my point.
Yeah.
It's like they are making this work. And to what you said is like offensively, if they get Kai going, if they get Ruben going, and they get Tyler shooting well, and they get Abu that is efficient, it's a team that has a higher ceiling than UAB. And we've said it before. I think they have a higher ceiling than FAU.
Yeah.
Like that they do. They just do. But FAU is very consistent. They shoot a lot of threes. They're a very, very high powered team. I'm not taking anything away from them. But North Texas, at their best at this point, is the best team in the conference. Now it's just about proving it. And because you didn't do it early in the year, now you're a 2 seed. And now we can transition into the tournament, of which I will show on the screen because we have a YouTube audience, Colin.
Wow.
There it is in its glory. North Texas 2 seed plays on Thursday night at 8:00, concurrent with UAB, who is the 3 seed. For those not watching on YouTube, check us out on YouTube. But for those listening, FAU is the 1 seed, North Texas 2, UAB 3. So North Texas, UAB will play if they win. Middle Tennessee 4, Charlotte 5, and those are all the teams that get a quote unquote bye into the quarterfinals. You then have 6 teams playing in the first round. You have Western Kentucky and UTEP playing in the 8-9. You have FIU and La Tech playing to play North Texas, and you have Rice and UTSA playing to play UAB.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we got to fill it out, Colin. We got to fill it out. Okay. Now, with that, before we get into it, how do you feel about the draw for North Texas?
I mean, in my eyes, I think FAU and UAB are equally as dangerous. It's just a matter of what do you want to face? Do you want to face Jelly Walker? Do you want to face FAU's defense and threes? So it is what it is. It's going to be a tough road either way.
Now, if we look at the first round, even I think FIU and La Tech are pretty comfortable opponents. La Tech, obviously, without Kobe Williams for the rest of the year. I think they'll be fine against those two. I would be a little bit more concerned if it was UTEP or Rice, I will say. Like, I don't want to see UTEP or Rice. I'm not saying they would lose to them, but I don't want to see UTEP or Rice.
You just don't want to see Rice just because of what they did earlier this season.
Just because they can be – I don't think Rice is good.
Yeah.
But yes, kind of, because I think there is an off chance that Rice somehow gets some offense going, and then we're in a shootout, and North Texas doesn't want to be in a shootout. Like, yeah. I wouldn't say it's likely. I think North Texas wins that game 90% of the time, but I just don't want to see UTEP or Rice. Regardless,
I will agree with you on UTEP because you don't want to face a team that plays very hard just like you do.
Yeah.
Because that'll wear you down.
Yeah. So they got FIU and La Tech in the first round, in the quarters rather. I think they take care of business there. And then, like you said, UAB. Ideally, in a perfect world, North Texas would be the 1 seed, and you let the other two play it out. But FAU, credit to them, they deserve it. 18-2 in conference, the number 1 seed. They get the quote unquote easier schedule with Middle Tennessee and Charlotte, but they have lost Middle Tennessee this year. Let's not forget that. I think Middle Tennessee is a very capable team. They're comfortably the 4th best team in this conference to me. But would I be like shocked, like on the floor, like crying if Middle Tennessee beat FAU? No,
Crying.
no, I wouldn't be shocked like that. I wouldn't at all because it's tournament time. It's tournament
Yeah.
time. So okay, let's fill it out. Let's fill it out. I was gonna get my notebook and
We'll just
just
do a
write it
joint
down.
bracket. Normally we do individual brackets, but
A joint bracket. Okay, so we can talk through it.
yeah.
Okay. Well, you just saw Western Kentucky, and we've seen UTEP this year.
Yeah. I think we all know where this is going.
I'm thinking UTEP.
I'm thinking UTEP. I think UTEP probably wins pretty comfortably.
Western Kentucky just got done playing North Texas, and now has to play UTEP, who is equally as annoying, even though less talented.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got UTEP winning that. FIU La Tech. FIU is probably the team in the conference I know the least about, even though we've seen them. La Tech, it's hard for them. I believe these two teams just played and went to overtime. La Tech and Western FIU did.
I'm looking right now. Yes,
I'm gonna go.
They actually. Oh yeah, two games ago. Yeah.
Yeah, who won that? FIU.
No, Louisiana Tech won by 77-76.
Wow. I'll take FIU.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of the end of the reign of La Tech right now, just because the Kobe Williams thing was kind of the last nail in the coffin, and FIU is coming off a 90-point outing against Rice, so Rice isn't good defensively, but you know what I mean.
They're rolling a little bit. They're rolling.
Yeah, they're rolling a little
confidence
bit.
boost of playing
So
Rice.
I think
All right,
confidence.
we got FIU.
Yeah,
Rice UTSA. I watched UTSA beat Rice in Houston.
Yeah, UTSA is awful. Rice. I've seen Quincy Olivari just go crazy.
We saw them beat Marshall 2 years ago.
He shows up. They show up. The guards show up. So I'm gonna go Rice.
That's in our head. Okay, we got Rice. So that's the first round.
Yeah.
Quarterfinals, FAU or UTEP.
See, this is where I might like throw in a little bit of an upset, but we have to agree on this bracket.
No, if you think UTEP can win,
I think UTEP can win purely because we saw North Texas not at its best make it such a close game. You give me a UTEP team that has Joe Golding, who a couple years ago with ACU, did some insane things in March Madness with I think he had a 5'5" point guard. Am I wrong saying that?
No, you're not wrong.
I thought he was 5'5". Yeah.
No, yeah, I think he's 5'7".
As a top 5'7", top defensive team. Listen, seen it before. It could be an upset for me. If you agree, then I think we might have an upset.
No, I don't agree.
Okay,
but
we can take FAU.
Okay, but you are on the record saying you're taking UTEP over FAU.
Yeah, I'd probably give it I think UTEP has like a 35% chance of winning that game.
That's pretty high.
Yeah,
that's pretty high. All right, place your bets now, folks. Go get in there. All right, Middle Tennessee and Charlotte. I think
Tennessee and Charlotte.
I'm taking Middle Tennessee. What do you think?
Oh, that's a tough one for me because I think Charlotte is pretty good.
They are pretty good. They did just push UAB to double overtime, but they did lose to UTSA the game before that.
Very true. I'm gonna go. I gotta go Charlotte.
They split in the regular season. Okay, so we just have completely different brackets. So this was pointless.
All for naught. Sorry
to do this in the same. All right, North Texas FIU. We are North Texas podcast. We're taking North Texas.
North Texas.
UAB and Rice. This is an interesting one. Because let me pull up UAB schedule. UAB beat Rice 70-52 and then beat them 85-57. So maybe it's not an interesting one.
Actually. Not interesting. This is going to be an absolute bloodbath.
Okay. UAB beats Rice.
Yeah.
So I have FAU in middle. You have UTEP Charlotte.
Yes.
Who you got in yours?
UTEP Charlotte. If you beat FAU, you're going to beat Charlotte. UTEP.
UTEP. Okay. All right. Colin's got UTEP in the final. North Texas UAB. Now, okay, let's get like semi-serious here.
Yeah.
About this preview. Because we're not going to do a podcast before this game. We could do I don't know. This is it. This is what our thoughts on North Texas UAB.
Yeah.
Because UAB, I think I've said it before.
Well, let's do outside of the other teams, and then we'll do that. How's that?
What was that?
Let's do the other teams, and then we'll go back to the UAB. so we don't like go from talking about UAB, UNT, and then going, what do you think of? You know what I'm talking about?
No. So what other teams?
Because you didn't. I made my pick for the semifinals. You didn't make yours.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, sorry, I forgot about that. I'm gonna go FAU. Sorry,
Okay,
just
that's why I
wanted
was
to.
confused.
I wouldn't be surprised if Middle Tennessee won though. Again. Okay, sorry, that's my pick. The FAU. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
All right, North Texas UAB, Colin. I
yeah,
said it before. UAB, outside of the North Texas loss, which was double overtime in Denton, they've won every other game since January 26th. Since January 21st, really. Like, you look at their losses this year, and they're not bad losses outside of the 3-3 start, right? Like they started technically 4-5 in conference. They end 14-6. So they're 10-1 in the last 11. Their one loss, like I said, being to North Texas on the road in double overtime.
yeah.
Granted, they went double overtime with Charlotte. They had a 5-point win over UTSA that was unimpressive. They only beat FIU by 4, all that stuff. But they beat FAU. They ran Rice out the building. They've run a few teams out the build. They beat Middle by 23.
Yeah.
UAB has hit its stride, is what I'm trying to say. How worried are you at this point of this matchup?
I feel like if any UAB team is going to win, because we've talked about this team, I guess the last 2 years with Andy Kedney,
Well, they won last year.
or I guess, sorry, you're right. I didn't cover the team last
Well, because
year.
we were going back to 2 years ago, the team. I do think there are similarities with the team 2 years ago to this year's team.
Here's the issue.
Go ahead.
Here's what North Texas cannot do. You cannot let Jelly Walker go off. Put up 41 points last game. That cannot happen. Like, since he's come back, he's gone crazy. Jelly Walker against Rice 2 games ago, 32 points, 10 and 19. Like, that you have to hold him to under 20, and you have to make shots, because if he at all gets hot, which we know he can, that would be a nail in the coffin for me, because you just simply, like you said earlier, you were worried about Rice because if they go on a run, North Texas doesn't have the firepower to match it. So if Jelly Walker's just making tough shots, even though it's on good defense, and you can't match it, like that's an issue to me. So I guess that would be my main concern.
It is my concern, because last year we saw him kind of will that UAB team at times.
Yeah.
And kind of a more macro type discussion to have is Tyler Perry. I think he's doing really well with what he can do, but we've seen it at times throughout the past month. Teams been able to take him out of games. UAB has Eric Gaines, who did bother Tyler at times. I think last time they played, Tyler had to get to the free throw line for most of his points. I think he had 30 points, but still, that is a concern for me, because if Tyler Perry's not scoring, you need Kai, you need Ruben, you need Aaron, you need Abu. It's not a matchup I feel good about, if I'm being completely honest with you. I've said it before. I think I said when North Texas won last time that UAB was going to win, right? I think I said that on
You
here.
did say that.
Yeah. Like, it's not a matchup I feel good about on paper.
Yeah.
It's not. However, North Texas has beaten this team twice. And you can look at that one of two ways. North Texas knows how to beat UAB, or the old adage, it's hard to beat a team 3 times.
Exactly.
I'm scared, Colin. I'm scared. However, we have Grant McCaslin, and we have Ross Hodge, and we have this team and this coaching staff that has done it before, right? Last year's team lost to La Tech in the semifinals. We can just admit it. They did not have enough offensive talent on that team.
Yeah.
This year's team has enough offensive talent to compete and to win this thing. UAB is going to be a very, 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 very difficult matchup. The best thing for me, and I'll let you talk, I'm sorry,
No,
I'm
you're fine.
rambling, but the best thing about this matchup to me is the fact that UAB's junk defense doesn't seem to bother North Texas, if that makes sense. Like, their 1-3-1s, their half-court traps, like, even with Eric Gaines, it doesn't feel like they are really in North Texas heads with that junk defense. Like,
right.
North Texas had 13 turnovers in a double overtime game last time they played. Like, that's not a lot. So I do feel good about from that respect.
Yeah, I mean, defensively, like we talked, I don't think North Texas is necessarily bothered by other teams' defenses. I think that sometimes they just don't have the players that can make shots. Like Matthew Stone, like you said, Matthew Stone. The reason why they pull away in certain games is because if he hits 2 threes, 6 points, 6 points from Matthew Stone is like 12 points when you're in North Texas because your defense is so good.
Yeah.
So that's the main issue is you have to match Jelly Walker with obviously Tyler Perry, but on top of that, if Kai's out, you have to match him with Matthew Stone. You need Tyree Eady to step up. You need Abu to continue doing what he's been able to do in the past. And you can't make and I know it was double overtime, but you can't have a high score of 82-79. I don't think that's a game that North Texas comes out and wins. Their other win was, what was the score?
Did they score 62 in the other game too? Like it was 62-62 going to overtime of the last game.
Yes,
and I think that's the ceiling. That's the max. Like if this game is over 65, they're not winning the game.
Well, the game that the first game that North Texas won, it was 60. They scored 63. North Texas did, and UAB only scored 52.
Exactly.
So, and Eric Gaines was their leading scorer with 15
and
points.
Jordan didn't play.
And Jordan exactly. Jelly Walker didn't play. So you can't be in, like you said, you can't score more than 62, 63 points. And we said the same thing when North Texas played FAU. It's the same type of thing. You can't match firepower right now. You don't have Javion Hamlet. You don't have James Reese. You have Tyler Perry and Kai, and then you have guys who sometimes hit shots when they need to. And obviously against Western, those guys did step up. But you have to make sure that you do not let them score 70 points, 80 points, because I don't think it's a game they can win.
I started this podcast by praising this team and this coaching staff for the defensive clinic they've put on this entire season. That's what's going to win them this tournament. Like, that's what's going to do it.
Yeah.
We saw them. I think this offense has gotten consistent enough to where they will score 60 points against FAU and UAB. That's not my concern as much.
I agree.
The concern is if one of those teams gets hot, can they score 70? And I don't know if they can do that. I just don't know. With that being said, the defense is a lot better, so I feel better. I'm going to stick with what I said. I'm not going to have North Texas losing this game. I think North Texas beat them twice. I think North Texas has a higher ceiling. I think their defense is playing better. Jordan Walker will decide this game for me. If Jordan Walker scores 22 or more points, I think UAB wins. That's pretty simple to me. Unless if Tyler Perry goes nuclear and matches him, which I don't think Eric Gaines will let him do. But if he does, then okay, then game on. Then we play.
Yeah.
But I just can't see a world in where Jelly Walker gets 30 points and North Texas wins. That doesn't feel right.
I mean, I completely agree with you. I mean, last game, like I said, they went to a double overtime, but he shot 32 times. Like that's insane for a college basketball game. And if you give him that many attempts, if you give them that many offensive possessions, he's going to score points. So I am actually going to take UAB. Unfortunately,
he didn't shoot 32 times
against Charlotte.
Oh, I thought you meant against North Texas.
No,
he shot 20 times against North Texas last time.
Yeah, I'm talking about Charlotte.
Yeah.
When they played. So I think that Jelly Walker will go off.
So we're flipping this.
Yeah. Remember how it used to be you who was always against it?
Yeah.
And I don't think it's because North Texas does anything bad. I just think it's going to be UAB. I think it's going to be Jelly Walker, not necessarily UAB. I think everyone else, they do their game plan fine. It works out. But it's going to be whoever's guarding Jelly Walker, and he's just going to make tough shots. And I think that's going to be the decider. So,
yeah. Put it on the message boards.
Colin sucks.
Get the Twitter going. Fire up the Twitter. Make the graphic, Colin.
Yeah.
North Texas will lose. Honestly, it might be what this team needs. We weren't harsh on them last year, and what happened? They lost.
Well, here's the issue, though, is I don't think, like I said, if you were to tell me earlier this season, like, give me midway through before FAU or after Rice, we'll say after Rice, I would have said that they wouldn't have won the tournament because it was something that North Texas did wrong. I don't think if they lose against UAB, it's going to be because they did something wrong. I think it's just going to be they can't score
their ceiling
70. Yeah, exactly. And not a ceiling in terms of, where the team can go. But if you have a guy that just goes nuclear, you have a guy that goes nuclear. And right lately, Jelly Walker's on a heater. So I think that's my main concern. But hey, he might not be. And if he doesn't, then I think I think that's UAB's only chance, but I think it's a high chance that it
For sure.
happens.
Yeah, I mean, North Texas is not the type of team to trap, or get the ball out of his
Right.
hand as much. Really, they usually keep it pretty straight up. Maybe in ball screens they'll hedge a little bit harder, try to get it out of his hands. But I mean, they have players on this team. We've talked about it before. Tavin Lovin, KJ Buffin, Ivan, like Tony, Eric Gaines, those guys. So we'll see. Now I got North Texas, you got UAB. I think that was a good preview going into it. Comes down to Jelly. See what we can do. All right. So I have FAU, North Texas. You have UTEP and UAB.
That's
Do you have
crazy.
UTEP or UAB winning the tournament?
Let me see. Let me check this UAB UTEP score real quick. All right. Hey, you know what? It's hard to beat a team 3 times. Give me UTEP winning the whole damn thing.
All right. Colin Mitchell has UTEP beating FAU, Charlotte, and then UAB in succession and winning the conference tournament. Congratulations to the Miners for somehow from going 7-13 in conference, winning the whole thing. Good for y'all. Make the graphic, print the shirts,
no.
raise the banner.
I can't willingly actually say that, but I think UTEP will be the Southern Miss from a few years ago when they knocked off Middle.
Yeah.
But no, if UAB gets to the final, I don't think it's going to be because Jelly Walker. No, if he's still hot, he's not going to. UTEP's not going to be a better defense than North Texas. It'll be like a walk in the park comparatively. I feel like with how good North Texas is playing. So, for the memes, we can go. I'll pick UTEP, but UAB is going to win that game if it actually happens.
All right, Colin's got UAB.
Yeah.
When they played in the regular season, they went double overtime the first time they played. Let the record show.
Yep.
All right, Colin's got UAB. I'll take North Texas. One of us has to take North Texas on this damn podcast. I actually feel good about North Texas against FAU. I like the matchup. North Texas doesn't allow a ton of threes. I think they can keep FAU back down to under 60 points, which they did twice.
Yep.
Twice. Like, I think there is a good chance North Texas just matches up really, really, really well with them defensively. And like we've talked about time and time again, they're going to have to make shots. You got to get to that 60-point threshold. You got to get 65 probably to win a championship. I think they can do it. Do it. FAU hasn't been there before. North Texas, even though this is a very different team from 2 years ago, I think North Texas is capable. And I think that they are experienced. I think they can do it. So give me North Texas over FAU, win it 64-58.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. I got UAB. You got North Texas.
Yep. There you have it. All right. Let's see. Anything else before you wrap it up?
I don't think so.
I mean, I keep going back to what I said after, like, I don't know, a few weeks ago, probably a month ago. I said if this team ended the year 16-4, I'd be.
It's a good season.
Giving them a standing ovation. I think that's a great season.
Yeah.
So, very, 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 very good season. Borderline great season. Obviously, losses to like UNC, Wilmington, Rice, Charlotte. You can't lose all 3 of those. Maybe 1, maybe 2. Losses to all 3 of those end your at-large hopes, which sucks. Obviously, if you beat FAU, one of those 2, that would be great as well. But this is a team that had opportunities to be the best team, I think, North Texas history.
I agree.
We'll see how the postseason run goes. So I'm not going to rule that out yet. Maybe they win the tournament and get in. Because if this team gets in, they're not getting in as a 12 seed. We talked about it before. They'll get in as, a 10.
Well, if they get in, and if it's your scenario and it's FAU and North Texas, I think FAU gets in at large.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that it wouldn't be a 12 like you said. It would be like something like a 10.
Yeah, I think they'll be around 10. I think FAU will be the 10 or maybe a play-in 11 type thing. It just depends. So we'll see. 2-bid Conference USA is on the horizon, though.
It's that Bleacher Report thing that said 3-bid somehow.
Yeah, that was like 2 weeks ago. I think that was before the Charlotte game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Right. So yeah, no. But regardless, we'll see how it goes. The tournament starts on Wednesday, like we said, in Frisco. It's a shame I won't be there.
I won't be there either.
But have fun, everybody in attendance. If they make the championship, you going Saturday?
No, I'll be in Bandera at a wedding.
Oh yeah, we'll be there.
Yeah, you will be there. Yeah,
We'll
duh.
both be there. Yeah, so we'll be there. We'll be watching the game together. Maybe I'll have my mic if we need to do a podcast
Yep.
on Friday or Saturday or something. But yeah, there you go. Hope y'all enjoyed the podcast. Let us know what you think. Will North Texas win the tournament? We'll get some graphics out, get some polls out, all that stuff. Tournament starts on Thursday night. I'm kind of glad it's the late game. You know what I mean? For North
Yeah.
Texas, they play at 8, and then 2. So 8 on Thursday, 2 on Friday.
I
So,
hated the 11:30 time slot.
yeah, so that's a positive. Let's look at the positives here. But that's all we got for y'all today. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Leave us a 5-star rating and review wherever you're listening. Leave us a like, comment, share, subscribe, and follow us on Twitter at GreenRoomUNT. We appreciate the support. Again, we will be continuing to post content on there. Spring football's around the corner. We'll get some football stuff up as well. But yeah, thank y'all for joining us. We'll talk to y'all later.